All right. China. The Chinese Grand Prix. uh there are two races in and the season's a shit show already. Like seriously. So before we even get into that, I think we gotta spend just a minute on the Red Bull fuckery that is going on right now. Is Liam actually out? Yuki, that's what everything on the internet says, but I've yet to see an official release. What's happening?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. I keep seeing a lot of people reporting on that same thing, but I've yet to see. Like I sent you that clip from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There was that journalist, and I saw it on X, and I was like flipping through, kind of like refreshing on like the Red Bull and even like the F1 accounts, and yeah, I didn't see anything official.
Right.
So I mean, technically, nothing has really been announced, but then it kind of sounds like from that video that you sent me, it's a done deal, and basically like Yuki already knows.
Yeah. And Liam found out on Instagram. If that's the case, that is just so bad. This is supposed to be like the top tier professional sport, and if that stuff's happening.
Well, did you ever hear they did that? Renault did that to Julian Palmer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was talking about how it was like basically like he knew like there was like team kind of discussions happening in the background, and he's like, clearly they're not happy with me. And then basically he was like, yeah, I like logged online and saw like Carlos Sainz replaces Palmer, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm out. And then he basically like just, I think he like the next race he did, and after that he's like, let's just do this. Like I don't even want to be here. Like you clearly don't want me here, so yeah. The point being is like there's it's not wouldn't be unprecedented, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's the kind of stuff like that would hold some merit to Max wanting to move on for me. Then it's kind of like we were talking, like that's just toxic workplace stuff right there. And he is in a good mood, and that fully could be him just starting to dissociate. Like, I'm on this season. It is what it is. Put a nutless monkey in the car, number 2 car. I don't even care anymore. Gonna try to have fun, have my kid, bounce, go somewhere else.
Yeah. I think the other part too is he's also like, I could really be throwing a huge shit fit about this, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be really, and I don't know how he is behind the scenes, obviously, but he could be going in the media kind of eviscerating the team, and he's not.
Yeah.
So, and also apparently I mean, it's like, this is all like speculation. I feel like we're like gossip people at this point, but I mean, it's
all it is right now.
Which, right. I guess like he was also pretty, he wanted them to keep Lawson.
Yeah. That's what I saw.
So what does that do? Like, I agree with you 100%. I'm like, all you're doing is really just like creating more headaches, more problems. You're basically pushing them out the door at that point.
Yeah. Like, I don't really know how I feel about it. I like Lawson, so I don't want to see him get the boot, but he clearly is just struggling with the car, and he's said he just can't figure it out, So it would make sense, kind of like we talked about last time, put Yuki in the seat, put Lawson in the B carb, and let him have a season to develop and see what Yuki can do. And you got nothing to lose right now. You've got 2 last place finishes, basically. So it's probably better to pull the plug early, make the swap, give it a shot, as opposed to drag it out for a super long time like they did with Checo.
Yeah.
But the flip side is like, poor guys only had 2 races. One was a wet, rainy race, and the other one was a sprint race. And is it really fair? Has he had a fair shot? Not really. But also, last is like pretty bad. It's not like he's on the fringe of the points. It's like, oh, he's getting there. He hasn't had car trouble. He's been dead last. And he just said he can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, the balance is terrible. I'm not fast enough. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, and you would hope, like, no, and I totally agree with all of that. And you would hope, like, Red Bull would basically kind of like, Christian Horner, like, put his arm around Lawson and kind of be like, hey, man, like, you didn't do anything wrong. we want to look out for you. We're gonna maybe put. I mean, and it's like, I mean, 2 races. Like, I agree with you. Like 2 races, I guess 3 or whatever.
Yeah. Sprint.
But I mean, and also in a lot of cases, that sprint race kind of hurts you more because it's like if you're trying to get to grips with the car, you get one practice, then you go right into the quality
Right.
and then a race. So it's like you're not even getting like the same kind of build up.
Yeah.
You could argue the races maybe I don't know, but either way, the point being is it's like, yeah, you would hope that they would kind of sit him down and be like, look, man, like we're not just gonna like throw you aside or throw you away. We also don't want to just see you struggle. It seems like they've done neither, and they basically are just like, well, we need someone who can work with the car. And it's like kind of crazy too, because I've been seeing on X just like so many memes of people being like, so you guys just threw away Daniel Ricciardo's career
For nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
See that too.
You just fucked him off just for absolutely no reason. And it's, which ironically, he might almost be the only guy that they could call up who could drive the damn thing.
Yeah. He could be the dude. Watch the next race. If the switch is actually happening, watch Liam fucking out qualify and out race Yuki with the Z car.
But it's not.
That car seems more drivable at the very least.
Well, the crazy part too, and like kind of back to the other thing where it made sense to give him Japan because he's like has a lot of experience there.
Yeah.
So it kind of like it to me it did make sense. Like, hey, let's let him give him one more weekend, maybe like a traditional like weekend build up and everything. Let him go through all the motions, see how he handles and copes with it, and tell it. Or I don't. I mean, yeah. I mean, tell the guy too. Like, hey, dude. Like, we want to see. We're gonna evaluate you. Kind of same thing. Like, because how old's Lawson? I mean, what? He's early 20s.
Yeah, he's young too.
Right. I just like Red Bull. Just like we're just gonna break these kids before they even like. It's insane.
Brutal. Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about it before the season, and it's what's happening.
You messaged me, I think was it Australia, and you're like, okay, when do we place bets on when he's out of the car? And we didn't even get a chance to.
Yeah, it was too quick. There was one post today. It was like, Max has had more races with Red Bull than Liam has had hours with Red Bull. It's like Liam has been with Red Bull for like 173 hours from the start of the Australian Grand Prix till today, and Max has done 188 races. It was terrible.
Well, and I think especially the great thing about Yuki is like he'll get on the radio really quick and be like, "This fucking car is trash," and this like, so...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll just him and Max together on the same team. Just be brutal for a race engineer. Oh, you're gonna be sitting there like, what the fuck?
I can't believe it. I just like I still like I'm kind of like a little bit like in shock over the fact too that like this is like blown up this fast this soon. And it's really interesting too because like all last year whenever I'd hear the rumors of like, oh, Max is talking to Mercedes, there's conversations with this and this, like I was just like, whatever. Plus you're like, you never know what that means. Like,
yeah,
his dad could literally be talking about absolute crap with Toto Wolff or other Flavio, whoever.
Yeah.
And if they get seen in the paddock, people are like, oh, he's talking to so and so, shopping him around. To your point, now you kind of go, why wouldn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that environment. The car is not the fastest car anymore, so he's lost that. The whole team just seems to have a lot of momentum going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So, don't think it'd be very fun to be around.
No. And you kind of wonder, because I mean, I keep seeing the thing saying that the disgruntled employee, we'll call her that.
Yeah.
In the Horner case, I mean, she's still like pushing forward with her case. Mm-hmm. So he still may not even be out of the clear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Oh, I don't know, crazy. But I guess back to China. That was kind of a boring race, honestly. Had a nice nap. One of
I
my
don't know
half
who
naps.
said that it usually produces good racing.
Yeah,
That guy shouldn't be talking. So.
Probably it did, just not during the race. Because fucking Ferrari again. Dude,
Let's just start there. Let's just take it there.
the master class of Ferrari. Sprint pole, sprint win, disqualified. Shitty result, and then disqualified for two different reasons, but both the team's fault. Like, how?
Well, it's funny because like we talked about it before. We were like, oh, this could like kind of prove or like save them. Like I'm getting 2019 vibes all over again.
Yeah.
Where they had that amazing testing. Seb even was like, oh, I've never had testing go so smoothly, and then they sucked it in Australia when everyone's like, oh, they should be going quick, and then they're like, oh, just you wait till we get to China. When we get to China, it'll be fast. And there's that. And I mean, they were like Lewis was in the sprint race. I'll give him clearly he won. But that car isn't.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the race.
Yeah, it's not pulling it together. Is clearly what I'm trying to say. And then the fact too that they can't even then keep it legal.
Yeah, yeah, like Lewis's wood was too short. So that's, I don't know, kind of ridiculous. And then you can kind of go like, oh, well, same thing happened to Russell last year. Leclerc lost it because they switched to the one stop. Probably took too much weight off the car. But so did everybody else. All of the front teams or finishers went to a one stop, and they were all fine. So what the fuck? Like, maybe you just don't push the limit quite that far. It was like 1 kilogram was it.
Kilo's that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying.
2.2 pounds because we're American.
Right. No, that's right. But yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, I know that's like not much, but like also for like the amount of engineering and like thought that's going into all this, like you would think. It kind of goes back to that same thing though. If you have to run the car that close to underweight, is it on the edge? And like I sort of get it. That's how you like win or lose. But also at the same time, to your point, I mean, they sit down and they consider strategies and all the teams, and it's like a one stop has to be. You can't tell me that they're like, oh, we can't run a one stop because the car will then be illegal. Like someone's like, well, then just put like a little bit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's ways around that. So yeah, that's a really good point. Like I don't really understand then how this is like catching them out once again.
Yeah, must have been the water. Didn't have enough of it this time.
Like what? Last race there's too much, now this one there's too little. Like make up your mind. Come on, man.
Charles should have just taken a shit in the seat before he got out.
It is where this belongs.
There's your 2 pounds, fuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking weird.
And it kind of sucks too because it overshadows like Lewis's win in the sprint race, which like
you
is
completely forget.
Yeah, like I mean, good for him. Like it's cool. It is like really actually like cool to see. But it's also interesting because you are like, is that going to be it for him for this season? Because like, is that like the closest the car is going to get, or the team's going to allow him? So you're kind of like, oh, I'm glad you got a little taste because this might be all you see.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that'll be it. Like they'll figure it out. Lewis is showing he's at least still motivated, still has some speed. I mean, he had the lap record until race qualifying when Piastri re-broke the lap record. So,
Yeah.
Lewis is definitely driving well. He's coming to grips with the car. He's still learning. I don't think that'll be it for him, but yeah, it was because I saw the sprint race results. I was like, oh, okay, like cool. This could be a good race here. And then they didn't qualify super well and just kind of flailed around in the mid top 10 again. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then also on strategy, like, what the fuck happened to V-Carb? I was so confused, dude. It's like they were up there all race, and then all of a sudden they just disappeared, and then Yuki's wing just explodes. What happened?
Clearly, Italians can't plan.
Yeah.
I like it because it's truly astounding because the past two races, Yuki's been like well into the points.
Yeah.
Like delivered in quali, delivered in the race, and then his like strategy just completely takes him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even like a little bit.
Yeah. Because they both ran two stop, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think so.
It was late.
I literally just kind of lost track of what they were doing, but all of a sudden they were down in like nearly last place. I was like, fuck, dude. What's going on? They both drove well. It's just their strategy took both of them out.
Yeah. And then now you like look at the kind of the situation that's going on, not to bring it back to that, but like with Red Bull, then like you also kind of sit here and it's like I wouldn't feel great about being in V-Carb either.
No.
Like I don't know, like that just kind of that whole situation now with like the whole Red Bull family is pretty like seems pretty rough. And yeah, the strategy side, I mean, because it happened, like I said to Yuki, like they totally made the wrong call in Australia, and then in China it was like, what? That was it? You guys had no other options for him? Like, I don't know. It's just really odd. And the car seems to be good, so it's not like I don't think he like blew through tires or anything.
No. Yeah, it didn't start like plummeting down the order and then get called in for a pit or anything. He's just there, and then I guess pitted and wasn't. And then the wing imploded. So that was super weird. Super weird. You know, the biggest problem with all of this, V-Carb strategy sucking, Ferrari getting disqualified, is Lance Stroll is scoring really good points.
I know he's actually looking like a decent driver.
Yeah, this is not cool. It's not good. And he's whooping up on Fernando. Fernando hasn't finished a race yet. These rookies, man.
I saw a stat today. He over his entire half of his career is now chasing this 33rd win.
Oh,
his first, I think he's done like 406 races or something kind of near there.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the first 203 or 2 or 3, he's got his 32nd wins and his 2 world championships. And basically he's now, and I remember because I've watched it. It was like, I think it was Valencia, like 2013. Or maybe it was Spain. Anyway, it was in Spain.
Yeah.
But 2013, and now, it's been 400 or another 400 races, and he still has yet to win. And I'm not saying he should be out. I just find that remarkable.
Yeah.
But also, that must be wearing on his patience, and I'm really
it's got to be.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been on like the worst team at the worst time. So similar to Ricardo. Let's get on these teams and they suck, and then he leaves and they get good.
Or just not as abysmal. But yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah.
Yeah, well, like Aston took such a dump, dude. They were... That... Was it 22?
23.
23, yeah. Yeah. The big first half of the season, he was right up there. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So like that proves he still got it in him. Just the car's gotten so bad. Just crazy.
Well, I think it kind of goes back too to like sort of the like Red Bull Max and Lawson kind of situation too, is like you look at like how quickly the car can turn and then take a guy like, and nobody on the grid discounts like how good Fernando is.
Yeah.
Just like Max. And it's like, so then you put those guys in like a terrible car and it's like, they all look unimpressive.
Yeah.
So it kind of like shines that much more of a light on this like whole Red Bull situation, especially. I mean, it's like, what are you guys gonna do? And then, but yeah, like with Aston, I mean, I would say if they didn't, had they not signed Newey, I'm sure he'd be looking to get the hell out. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I just like, I
for
feel
sure.
like he would be like, I can't do another season. I'm not going to play another season of just like being in this like terrible car.
Yeah.
Which I still think Red Bull should talk to Fernando, but that's, I know that'll probably never happen, but
yeah, yeah. No, I don't think it will either, but it'd be sick.
But I never thought they'd bring back V10s, but apparently there's discussions, so.
Yeah, it's sounding like 28 they might bring them back. Like it's actually kind of on the docket.
And it's funny because Audi doesn't seem too impressed, and meanwhile I'm like, well, do you even want to be here? Like, do you really even want to go through this like embarrassment of like what Sauber is?
Yeah.
Like, but anyways.
Really well, Audi has one of the sickest V10 production cars out there.
That's what I mean. I feel like this would be like,
cool. It's not like their supercar's a hybrid. They still run a V10. They should be happy.
I keep seeing more and more things of people going away from hybrids. They're not selling. People don't want them.
Oh, made that clear. Tesla's done a full circle. I'm so confused on that one now too. Like, it was the liberal bandwagon to now it's the most hated by liberals, and conservatives are like, yeah, Tesla. I'm like, what is going on?
Right.
Putting swastikas on them and lighting them on fire. It's like, what? I'm so confused.
I can't follow anything anymore. I'm still driving my diesel Volkswagen, and I'm happy because I'm like, you know what? I've stayed consistent.
Yep.
I never understood any of it to begin with, and I still don't. So
exactly. Still not going to get a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. I still wasn't going to buy one before. Not going to buy one now. So
yep. Also not going to go paint a swastika on one either.
I was raised with rules. I knew that was wrong. So
yeah, exactly. Jeez.
Yeah, well, and I kind of, to like with the racing too, it's really interesting. I kind of feel like we've gotten robbed of like a good showdown, and it's like funny, like McLaren's kind of just disappearing off into the distance while everyone kind of seems to not really like have their shit together. And it does sort of remind me a little bit of like, I think this could, I don't know what Max will be able to do. I won't rule him out, but it does kind of remind me of like a Lewis and Nico situation between Oscar and Lando. I think those guys are clearly, if one has an off weekend, the other one is like able to capitalize and vice versa. And I think that's going to really, that team's really going to be pressure cooker pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have any shadow of a doubt that they'll be the constructors champs this year, but
no one else has even scored like consistently enough. I mean, I know we're like 2 to 3 races in and we're calling it done, but yeah,
they are, everyone either has terrible strategy. Ferrari. Red Bull has one driver that can fight the car around pretty well. That pass that he had was amazing. That was
incredible.
And Albon or someone was in like the same situation a couple laps later, or maybe it was Hadjar. I don't know. It was one of those guys. Either way, kind of setting up the
blue
same
car.
Yeah, exactly. It's a baby.
Yeah,
kind of setting up the same kind of pass, and then just fell back in. Like there was no way he was going to make it happen, and Max just like made it look so effortless. It's like, wow, that's why Max is Max.
Oh, it was perfection.
Yeah.
And it was like, if he didn't get it on the outside, then he's like, that's fine. I'll just dive around on the inside and get it done this way too. I mean,
and that's where that car being super on the nose and twitchy can probably do things like that, but only Max can do that. So like it works.
It's like they come to find out he's had like the neural implant from that Elon's developing. The Neuralink, exactly. That's the only way he's been able to like help like get that car to work. Because
exactly.
it sounds awful, but it's true. I mean, it's like that level of precision for him to be able to like dive back around, keep traction, get drive off,
Yeah.
and get around Leclerc is because that's the other part too. It's not like Leclerc's like some lackey. Like
No.
he knows how to defend. He knows where to put him on the track. Like it's like so the fact that he pulled that off. I mean, that was I've seen that like 3 or 4 times because I'm just like that is an incredible move.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the moment of the race for sure. That was cool.
The pass for 4th place or whatever place that was. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That should be some driver of the day stuff. Give me Antonelli, dude. Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just like, for what?
Yeah. Started 8th, finished 8th. Nice. Driver of the day. My worst result yet.
At least he's got a good, exactly. At least he's got a good sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
Just like,
well, I guess the floor was damaged on the car and they didn't tell him.
Which is like kind of odd. Well, it's kind of funny though. Like it goes back to like that same thing of like how these teams like they're truly like trying to protect him and basically like just give him time, let him develop, let him get accustomed to the car. And granted, I mean, not everyone's different, but I think they know like maybe like if a rookie, if you tell them there's something wrong with the car, they'll then start feeling it. They'll not drive as well. So it kind of, I think it sort of speaks to Mercedes being better with developing them of like, don't tell him. If he can't feel it, don't let him know. And just like, we know that this is compromised. Like it's, I don't know. I'm kind of impressed by that, to be honest.
Yeah, I really just hate the fact that Mercedes is the team that is handling the rookie like so much better than every other team. It's admirable. I really like what they're doing with him, and I'm like, ah.
Especially since Toto's such a wanker. Like,
and then George just keeps like quietly knocking off thirds. It's like, oh, I'm here, not doing anything, but I'm here. Fuck.
the pain hits me too. I feel you as well. And like the fact that George, well, and he's kind of doing almost like what like Vettel did in like 2015 and 2016. Like he may not be challenging for a race win, but he's always there.
Yeah.
And so if like one of the top 2 drivers, team people from McLaren falls off, he can pick up the pieces if he doesn't put it in the wall himself. But I mean, right, they're just like they're just staying consistent. Like you gotta hand it to them. Like they are, it seems like they're going about this in a pretty good way.
Yeah, and over a 24 race series, consistency is far better than you just have to be consistent. And no one else other than McLaren is consistent right now. So if those two get into a pissing match and clean each other out, lose a bunch of points, and George is still right there, all of a sudden he gets a big points haul. That just happens in every other sport. See it in motocross and supercross all the time. One guy might be winning something, but then they crash and get hurt. And then the guy that's been 3rd, 4th every single weekend, all of a sudden they're the points leader. This year, Cooper Webb.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's just been truck along, grabs a win when it's there, but it's just been cruising along and never out of 4th place, basically.
And you kind of wonder how much of his mindset's really changed, where he's just like, hey, it's the same thing I was doing before. Just race by race. It's like put it together, race by race.
Yep. So that's what you got to do. I hate to say that.
And that's like kind of, I mean, not to, I agree with you. Like it pains me to see Mercedes like handling it so well, considering how they are and some of the way that they handle other things. But it also like, it does kind of make sense with them. Like they were always like good at just kind of like iteratively like chipping away.
Yeah.
And I don't mean necessarily like car development, because I don't know how great that car really is still, but it's like you can't knock them for like being able, like they show up to the race and they're still going through the same motions of like, okay, just get as much as we can out of this and see where we end up.
They have a very German mindset.
Yes.
Over the long term, it's hard to beat because they get, like Toto gets flustered in the moment for certain things for sure. Abu Dhabi, whatever. But like over the long term, they're just dead consistent. They're like, hey, it is what it is. Our car sucks right now. We're going to do the best, make good strategy, not going to panic, just keep going. And
It also, go ahead.
I mean, that's of all of the teams over the long term, they've had the least kind of pendulum swing. You know, they dominated, but they didn't fall off to like McLaren where they're just dragging around in last place.
Yeah.
They fell to third or fourth.
And it was close.
Yeah,
it's not like close. Right. So no, you're exactly right. Because like when Red Bull had, when they came after the V8 era, they didn't do too bad in 2014, but that was just mostly because all the other cars were imploding. But I mean, like 2015, I think they fell to fifth or something.
Yeah,
they had a terror. I mean, that was mostly that Renault engine, but I mean, it took them a while to like really rebuild. And no, you're exactly right. Like they did seem lost with that car, and they still might be, but it's like the operations, the strategy, like other stuff, like they're still holding it together.
Yeah,
and it is like something to like kind of tip your hat to, because it's just like, yeah, like you just said. I mean, who knows? I mean, like kind of like with the Kimi Antonelli thing, like he was just charging his way up the field in Australia.
Yeah.
Look at how it worked out. Yeah. Right. And then, yeah, like him just stay. And also, like, for a rookie, the fact that he didn't lose any places. Yeah, he started 8th, finished 8th. Great.
Yep.
Dude, that's like, be happy. You didn't make any mistakes. Like,
then in the end, he gets promoted to 6th. Ferrari again. So there you have it. He just stayed consistent, and now he's got a 4th and a 6th. Those are, and then George with 2/3. Those are good, consistent points.
Yeah.
Largely due to other teams just being disastrous.
Yeah. It's so funny. This isn't exactly what I expected for this season, but already, I mean, it's like still, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's like good racing, and like we haven't even talked about like Oscar. I mean,
yeah, the guy that won.
The guy that won, right? And like did basically everything right as far, I mean,
like, perfect race.
And his sprint race was pretty damn awesome. I mean, like he made the pass on Max, made it stick, managed the tire. It seems like everyone was really like managing the tires in that sprint race there at the end. Like you kind of got where you got, which also kind of makes sense then why Lewis especially like really shined, because that's
he's good.
So, but yeah, I mean, and Lando did okay.
He made a position on the start.
He did do that, exactly.
So
that's a good point. I forgot.
So yeah. Then he just didn't have anything for Oscar,
which is just a tiny bit concerning, I guess, for me. Like it's
or exciting.
No, it's awesome. But I think if you're Lando, like you're kind of, I mean, from my standpoint, no, it's like, it's awesome because there's gonna be some fireworks at some point.
Yeah. Well, and Lando's, like, Oscar's got mindset and mentality, but Lando's had speed and the quality pace. But he just got out qualified by Oscar, who set a new lap record, and then just walked away all race. Just walked. So, that's Oscar's figuring out the speed too. That's gonna be trouble for sure.
It, like I said, it's funny. I saw, of all people too, I saw like Nico Rosberg was talking about it, and he was saying how the dynamic reminds him of him and Lewis, but also like kind of just like the various things of like basically like one weekend one driver's better, the other weekend the next one's better, and it's like all it's gonna do is make both of them, if they can continue this all season, it's just gonna make them both like really top drivers. And
for sure.
You really hope that like McLaren has a good car for them next year, so that it stays this way.
Yeah, I think it'll probably, between those two, more come down to who has the worst race.
Yeah.
Other than that, they'll probably just trade wins. But if someone gets into it or makes a mistake or has mechanical or something, that could probably be more the deciding factor than,
or even gets caught out with like a red or a yellow flag in quali or something stupid.
Like, some
just,
unfortunate strategy.
Yeah,
a Monaco red flag or something where they qualify 5th and then you aren't making any passes.
Yeah. Or an engine blows up and then in Singapore you got to take a penalty or something.
Take big grid penalty. Yeah.
So.
Or Max laser eyes Lando on something. Yellow flag. Stop and go.
Did he lift enough for that? That's still
just blows my mind.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and like once again, you can't rule out Max. Who knows what the hell he's going to be able to do? I mean, he'll kind of throw a wrench wherever. And I guess supposedly they're bringing updates for Japan. Red Bull is.
Well,
is the update Yuki?
I think so. Because I saw something about the updates, and then I saw a meme one about it. It was like just describing the update, and it's like smaller, lighter, shorter, and faster.
Yuki integrates Tsunoda. Better with the Honda VTEC.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, jeez. I was gonna pull up the results because I don't even remember who finished where outside of that, but because like Carlos, I don't even remember what he did all day. Albon was 6th, Ocon 7th, Stroll 8th. Albon's killing it.
He's really, I think he understands what's at stake.
Yeah.
And he's really putting it together. I also did hear, though, not to take anything away from him, the point still stands. I did hear, though, that Carlos Sainz is still driving the 24 chassis or like a rebuilt
24 chassis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Hopefully that's like they're kind of. Hopefully all this sandbagging really just like propels him further up. Because I've been kind of curious like why he hasn't been. I mean, he still got 10th, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, post disqualification. I just still can't get over that. I mean, he's being solid, he's staying consistent. So I mean, it's like you kind of hope like as he gets more of a feel for it and he gets a proper chassis, like he's like right up there.
Yeah.
Because that's the other part too. Like I think from the races, it hasn't been if like one guy has a strong finish in a team, usually someone else is outside the points or not getting as much. So it's like kind of been pretty sporadic. Like aside from McLaren and Mercedes, no one's really getting double points, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Ferrari could have, but it's and like Williams has scored the same amount of points these first 2 races as they have all year last year. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And racing or VCarb is the only team with no points. I don't know. It just makes it even weirder.
Yeah, exactly. It really does. Because the car looks good.
The car looks really good. Yeah, I don't think it's any fault of the car or the drivers. And then half of Red Bull is in 4th, so Verstappen racing.
It's just, I don't know. It's just the wildest kind of situation. I think everyone sort of anticipated Red Bull like having struggles and like Liam kind of struggled, but it's just like the blow up is just insane. I really it's really wild. Then you got the good old the kick shit Sauber down there at the end. Those cars look
clip of Hulkenberg's onboard. Oh my god, dude. If I didn't know it was Hulkenberg, I would just think it was like some fucking jackass that they threw in the car for like a celebrity run or something. Like, okay, this guy just can't drive, but it's Hulkenberg. The dude can drive. That car is awful. I couldn't keep it on the road, dude.
It's so bad. Well, like he came out of like turn 3 and it like snaps him like back like off the track and everything. Like
it's just like, oh shit. Hang on. Could you imagine? That's like the first couple turns of your race too. They just know you got to deal with that for the next 2 hours. Like,
I mean, I guess when
fuck
it drops some fuel, maybe it'll feel a little bit less bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like, oh wow, this is gonna be a fun race.
Yeah.
Great. I don't know what the hell it's. This is the concern though I do have for like the regulations for 26. The cars are already like really complicated because clearly like look how many teams like can, and an F1's complicated period.
Yeah.
But you look at like how much of them are struggling with all the like aero and just like making the car work, have balance. You start adding movable parts that are controlled by software, like how much of a shit show are we in for next year?
Yeah, it almost seems we're on the verge of like human capabilities with technology, where we're getting to, like, we've gotten so advanced that the technology we can understand how to put in a car, we don't understand really that well, and then it's really hard to manage and really easy to get wrong. We almost have to make the leap where we go like quantum computers, supercomputers doing the development and those chips being in all the different modules and processors for the car. Like it's getting to that edge of ChatGPT is going to have to build a car here soon. At least engineer it.
Still might be better than than a Sauber or whatever. I mean, it's yeah. Well, did you see too?
Scan Adrian Newey's brain and download all that information to ChatGPT
and just learn. Yeah. Well, did you see though? I guess apparently they ran like an AI race series last year.
Oh yeah, dude, it was ridiculous.
And the car's just like, yeah.
It just did not make it.
But that is like kind of like what concerns me then about like where things are going. Like to your point, kind of like for next year, it's just like I kind of am like, how much of a nightmare are these cars going to be to drive?
Yeah.
And it's
because
like
it's definitely what looks good on CAD and what looks good in the wind tunnel doesn't translate to what a human being can actually make the car do in their reaction times. The car has to be drivable and forgivable. Like same thing with dirt bikes and supercross. They keep making them stiffer and stiffer and stiffer and stiffer chassis, and then guys can't ride them because they're too stiff. It's like they have to have. You gotta go back a little bit and like tune some flex into them, and sometimes slow down the motor a little bit, just so that the V carb is probably a more drivable and better car for 99% of people than the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Like that same kind of theory.
Yeah, it's funny too because it was I saw an interview. It was with Sam Hill, and he was talking about how like the bike that he hated the most was that first Carbon S-Works.
Yeah,
because he's like they built it way too stiff, and he's like it took me forever to like even figure out that was the issue. And he's like, because it's the exact same thing. They're like, oh, dude, you'll love it. Like the bike rides so much better according to all these telemetrics and everything. And so no, it's
Yeti 303, man. I sat there in the engineering room with the lead engineer looking at the thing on CAD. And he showed me, with these cars and rails, we can tune in exactly the leverage ratio, the wheel path, anti-squat, exactly how we want. Like there is no limiting factor hardly between this stuff. Awesome.
Which sounds amazing. Right.
It hit all the numbers. The geometry numbers were great. Nightmare to ride. I hated that thing. The only time it was good was in a not super steep chundery rock section. The rear end was really free and floaty, so it would just kind of eat that stuff up. But I would have taken my 06 Stab Supreme that was fucking long, low, slack, old, simple 4-bar with bearings and a torque arm that you could squat the bike into a turn any day. That was still one of my favorite bikes. Sprung too stiff. Brakes didn't work. I fucking love that thing.
But it kind of goes back to your point, very much to your point. Like you look at like a lot of the new like cross country bikes, especially, everyone's complaining that they look the same, and I'm like, yeah, because they've kind of gone to a much more simplified
Yeah, it
suspension thing.
works.
Because yeah, exactly, it works, and they kind of know what to expect out of it.
Yeah,
Whereas I think you over engineer a lot of these things, and I mean, I can only speak from the software side. I mean, you're like, oh yeah, like, well, we could tweak it to do this and tweak it to do this, and oh, like, well, if we optimize this, and you're like, yeah, but like, dude, it's a drop down menu,
yeah,
or like, it's that like you don't need to like,
exactly.
right, like, what are you thinking about?
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's the part that I like love, and I guess like kind of this is like sort of the question that I think a lot of people almost have in the back of their minds, is like, the cost cutting to
yeah.
make it like closer to a spec series. And I know they've kind of tried to do that. Obviously, you don't want to do that.
We're good.
Okay, cool.
The
um,
feral raccoon is waking up, but she's not screaming, so she's chill.
is that the puke eater, or is that the?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Onion eater, puke eater, dirt eater, you name it.
I'll never forget. Fucking Kalen Beisel were out getting ice cream, and my coach at the time, his like newborn drops a pacifier right on the floor, just picks it right back in the mouth.
Yeah.
And Kalen was like, everyone's like kind of like laughing, and they're like, oh, Kalen's like, oh man, love kids. He's like, oh, whatever this is, just right in my mouth. And he's sitting right there next to his girlfriend. He's like, gotta find me a girlfriend or like that. So
Exactly.
and everybody's just like in awe of like, I can't believe he actually said that. His girlfriend like kind of hits him, and she's like, Caitlin, and he's like, what, truth hurts, bitch.
Jesus. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
What were we talking about?
Oh, making F1 like a spec series.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if you need to go that far, but V10s with a little more simple chassis sure would cheapen things up and make it a lot better.
Yeah. It's just interesting to me because it's like you still kind of want to keep like the constructor side alive and like give people like room to develop things, because it's like they simplified those wings in 2019, I think, and then it was like the barge boards became like incredibly complex and really crazy.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like whatever you restrict, like somebody's gonna have to like make adjustments somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just kind of interesting, I guess. Like more of my concern is like, once again, like half the cars on the grid seem to be like not driving very well.
Yeah.
Like, which I kind of think is a good thing. I think cars should be hard to drive, but like maybe not this hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I think that they should be where some random person can't just jump in a car and drive it well. But when they seem just like flawed, hard to drive because they have like actual flaws.
Right.
Yeah. Like Hulk's car. To just not be able to keep it on the road when you're that skilled of a driver, just so unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, and then like I can't imagine it changed too much. I mean, once again, as we keep seeing a lot of these like kind of older veterans, like, I mean, was it Valtteri got 0 points last year? Couldn't do anything with that Sauber.
Yeah.
That's a quality driver, and he can't make anything happen over that many race weekends. Like, that tells you how bad that car is.
Yeah.
And how far off that team is.
Yeah. Dude, Red Bull should have signed Valtteri for number 2.
He would have been worth giving a shot to.
Absolutely. Or scooped up Sainz. They should have dumped Checo early and grabbed Sainz. Or at least you've not dumped him, but just said your contract is done at the end of this year. We're signing Sainz. I think they would be in a totally, because Yuki is I don't know. Yuki's
find out.
Yeah, he's doing really well this year, but he's not a race winner. He's not a podium guy. He's a fast driver in a shitty car. Maybe like best case scenario, he kind of maintains the speed that he has, but their strategy doesn't suck, and he's in the points at least.
Yeah.
But I think someone like, if you get a, I think that's where Ferrari is probably going to be okay, maybe longer run this season, is because they have two guys who are experienced and can help develop the car. Maybe just start calling their own strategy from the car, but they've got that experience. And like Red Bull's always going to be in the same boat when they have Max and then a rookie or a guy just hasn't proven himself yet.
Yeah.
Checo,
Yeah,
maybe an outlier there.
Well, and it's kind of, no, and you bring up a really good point, because it's kind of interesting. Like, you wonder how much of them not having somebody who just has that many more years of experience, like looking at telemetry, being able to tell you, like, hey, oh, you guys put an upgrade on the car? I can't tell. Or, yep, you know what? It feels like trash. Or, you know, it really made X, the rear end, feel even more unstable. And you kind of wonder, like, how much of that they're missing out on. And I agree with your point. I mean, like, I think that was part of the reason why they liked having Checo there. But it also is kind of a thing like, hey, man, it just, like, wasn't working. And I kind of feel like he got, like, done a little dirty as well. Like, I do think, like, they should have figured out a little bit of a better, more, like, which apparently they just don't do, like, a little bit more of, like, a ceremonious way to be like, look, man, this isn't going to work. We're going to buy you out, like, whatever, like, give him the opportunity to, like, kind of, and I sort of know they were hinting at that, but you always, like...
Yeah. Well, and if the rumors are true that Checo was saying that the development took a wrong turn in late 21 or whatever.
Yeah.
But Max was still driving the car well, whatever year it was, 21, 23.
Oh, 23 probably.
23, yeah. Like late 23, which is when Checo fell off. They brought the upgrades and he was like, no. This started complaining. And like Horner would never admit it, but there's that famous press conference where Toto called Horner out to, like, you know, Checo's been complaining about the car. And Horner's like, no, he hasn't. My guys are fine.
Right.
Well, Checo started to fall off, but Max was doing Max things, so they're like, car's fine. Checo's just doesn't know what he's talking about. They didn't trust him. Lo and behold, at the end of last year, they figured out, oh, yeah, that upgrade path that we put into place in mid-23 is what led us down this route that has made the car undrivable.
Yeah.
So if they're going to have an experienced guy, they need to listen to him and not just, well, Max is fine. Yeah, of course he is. He can drive a Golf around there, still beat half the field.
It's almost, if anything, they just need to stop.
Just wake.
Yeah.
Page.
Trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still never bought that raccoon game, but I still have it favorited.
Oh, dude, that game looks so fun.
It does look fun. No, you're exactly right, though. I think it's almost, if anything, they need to develop the car without Max, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they seemingly know enough of, like, what the characteristics are that he can deal with and he likes, where I agree with you. It's like, you know, you get a Sainz, a Valtteri, whoever, even a Fernando, or, you know, I don't really, I mean, but it sort of doesn't matter. Like, I think you do need someone, though, or even like a Hulkenberg. I saw a lot of people saying like they should get Hulk. He probably could have been a really good person to, like, come in and just basically be like, you've driven a lot of shit cars. Like, what do you think will help get this on the right foot? And I think, like, they're going to have to sit back and, like, really readdress, like, how they go about development and, you know, making the car feel better. It's probably too late too. I bet you that's the other thing.
I bet this iteration of the car is just it's done for. So they get what they get for the year, and hopefully 26 is better. But maybe they can develop something that's a little more neutral to drive, but they can set up balance-wise or something for Max to kind of cater to him on his car. So they can do a little something. Ride height, wing height, whatever. That was the other thing. How is Leclerc's Ferrari faster with a broken front wing?
Italians, man.
Dude. When you fail correctly.
Exactly. I think it goes back to, I think it actually perfectly demonstrates your point that you were making earlier. I think you can get stuff in CAD. You can get things like in the wind tunnel or whatever that maybe look good or better or whatever. And then it's also like really interesting to me. It kind of makes me wonder like how much of how much does that end plate weigh? Because once again, 1 kilo is not that much.
Oh yeah,
And
that
then
makes a lot of sense. I never put that together.
secondly, as well, and I don't know if that factors in. I don't know how they kind of deal with that, but also, the other thing, because I mean, like those wings, like you can go like stand on them, like they're strong, like and like jump and everything, and they're like hold up. But the point being is like it kind of makes me wonder, if it's just like diverting airflow in a certain way. I'm guessing just someone like him can just drive around it. Probably is like in the moment, like can't just like probably in testing he'd be like, oh yeah, I can tell the end plate's off. But now it's like you get the adrenaline going. He's just like, oh well, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So, but yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing.
Hey, shut up! Shut up! There's nothing. Boomer just decided, like, hey, I'm gonna rile the house up.
I got a weird smell.
Oh, idiots. DC was just losing it the whole race with that end place. Like, how is he still going so fast? How's the car working so good? It's like, well, maybe it did just kind of correct something that was going to be a problem. Maybe it made the car better.
Well, there was supposedly, if I remember correctly, I think it was like the 05 McLaren. It kind of had like the like Viking like horns on like at the top, like near the airbox.
Yeah.
And I guess they were asking, I think it was like one of the last cars like Newey had a hand in. And they're like, what do those do? And he was like, oh, those are just there for show. He's like, we kind of just put them there to like kind of like divert attention. He's like, they don't even really like do that much. And you kind of like wonder, like, is this like, I don't know.
Look cool. Oh. She took her diaper off and she's flinging it around. Shit. She's just standing there staring at me like flinging a diaper.
Your kids, man.
Menacing grin. Oh, jeez. Animal.
Should we make some predictions for Japan?
Japan. When is Japan? It's coming up 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
I think McLaren's gonna be 1-2. I'm gonna say I have 2 predictions that are gonna counter each other. Lawson Yuki swap is not happening. Lawson's gonna be in the Red Bull.
No.
Because we haven't seen the source. But when I'm wrong, Lawson at least outqualifies Yuki if he's in the V carb. Yuki's in the Red Bull.
Interesting. I can see it.
That's my bold prediction.
Let me think about this. I think I could see basically a similar podium from China.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly who will take that win, but I do think it'll be a McLaren. I'm trying to think. I think Lewis will outrace Leclerc. I think, which I guess isn't if they don't get disqualified or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think he's had such a long run at that track, especially like in the race. He's going to be really hard to beat. And I'm trying to think. I think both Williams will be in the top 10 on pure pace too.
Yeah.
I think they seemingly are coming good, and they really are like making, like you kind of talk about like Val's and everything, and like kind of his time there at Mercedes. He probably picked up a lot of that same, iterative German work style of just like little by little, like marginal gains and everything. And so I
definitely seems that way.
Yeah, I think both those cars on like pure pace alone will be in the top 10.
Yeah, Carlos with the bold strategy and seems to be the right move. Going to Williams. really seems to be
Yeah,
the one.
it's he and like the last thing I'll say to you about like the whole Red Bull thing, Red Bull better hope Max doesn't leave, because then if he does leave and then they're left, and even say like whatever
Oh,
that Ford Red Bull powertrains engine is like awesome, it's not going to matter if that car drives like shit.
yeah,
So yeah, I imagine there's probably that might actually even be the only thing that's preventing this whole Loss and Yuki deal, is if Max is like vetoing it, or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I imagine there's going to be. Oh, go ahead.
It's probably priority number one is keep Max happy.
Yeah, I imagine there's going to be a lot of off-track drama going on before and probably during Japan. I'm still looking forward to the race. Suzuka's awesome. That's like one of my
Yeah,
favorite tracks. But I think we're right now kind of in a place where like the racing on track won't be as good as what's going on off.
yeah,
You watch, it's a blinder though. Who knows?
yeah, exactly. Some crazy race. Yeah, should be good.
Sweet.
All right. Well, we'll be back to leave some half thought reviews and predictions after that one then.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Oh.
Half think.